Hey, Damon, what's happening, man?
Just getting ready to do this, Kurt. Having lots of fun today.
Awesome. Well, hey, let's dive right in. So, Kurt Anderson here. I'm with my buddy, my partner in crime, Damon Pistolka. So, happy, what is today? Damon is like October something or other, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's the
happy,
9th of October already.
man, days are
Woo.
flying by. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? So, all right, let's dive in. We're here talking about LinkedIn Live, and in particular, how do you make this process just super easy, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy,
Mm-hmm.
is that what they like to say. So, we want to talk about a software that we use. It's called Go High Level. What's your impression? Why are you head over heels in love with this software?
Well, I think there's two things primarily when it comes to what we're doing with live streaming, and then what we're doing with our businesses too. Quite honestly, is the wide range of things it can help you with in one platform. I mean, we were fortunate enough to have one of the founders on one of our shows,
Mhm. Yeah.
and he explained, he was a marketer, and they developed this solution just because of all the different systems they were trying to pull together. And now when you use the system, you really begin to realize it takes things like Calendly and Social Pilot and Zapier and some of these other things, puts them all together so that in one system, and a CRM,
Right.
and in one system, I can do and web forms and a whole bunch of others. Just way too many things to really even get into in this
Mhm.
short time frame. But in regards to live streaming and make it easy for you, making a great experience for your guests on LinkedIn Live, it really is about an inviting experience for your guests to come in, for them
Mhm.
to easily schedule a time that works for them, and then using the automation and the other things you can do to really make it a smooth process for you and that guest.
Exactly, right, and that's the thing is, like, how do you make it as easy as humanly possible for the guest, as well as, man, make your process efficient? Because a lot of people are like, "Geez, I'm adding something new to my plate. Now I'm
Hmm.
adding more. I'm already maxed out. Where am I gonna find time to do
Yep.
this?" So the thing is, we've been doing this for a few years now and just trying to figure out, like, how do we make this as efficient as possible? Why don't we go on a little road show? So I'm gonna pull up the screen. Do you wanna grab let's start with the guest calendar. Do you have that available?
Yeah, I do have that available. Let's get on that here, and we're going to share that tab right now, and let's put her up on the screen. Now it might be a little bit harder to see because of the. Let me make it a little bigger. But this is where we invite somebody in to look at it.
There you
First
go.
of all, they're going to come in and schedule guests. We lay out real simply across these. This is what you got to do,
Mhm.
and really for the guest, all they need to do is come down and select a date. We can look here and say, okay, there's a date in December here that I wanted to do it. I'm going to select the date. I'm going to go through, and just like a Calendly thing, I'm going to put um, my information in,
Yep.
and I'm scheduled for the show.
Yeah, and then you know what? And scroll back up to the top, Damon. Let's go through those steps real quick. So again,
Yep.
what the intention is, let's go. We're talking about this. Why are we doing this? We're talking about it from a business development
Yep.
standpoint, right? So you're thinking about a target. You have a topic that you want to cover. We always use that line. How do you out teach the competition? How do you
Yes.
just be that fierce educator, right? So the thing is, you align with somebody that you think like, man, we focus a lot on this in our products or this in our services or a certification or whatever it might be. But you
Yeah.
know what? We focus on it, but I wouldn't really brand us as an expert. What if we bring an expert on and now we can record that conversation? And so now you reach out to somebody for the first time and you send this link and you're like, hey, let's take a look here. First off, thank you. We're absolutely thrilled to have you share your passion and expertise with us. Number two, hey, just go down below and just grab a date. Grab a date. Super easy,
Yep.
making this as simple as possible for you. Next, what's going to happen next, and then we're going to go live. So we take it step by step by step to reduce any overwhelm, any intimidation. They're busy. How do we make this simple? And then, like you said, Damon, you scroll back down and we'll take a look at that calendar. And so
Yeah.
now they can just pick their own date, pick their time, and now they're good to go.
Yeah, they're like, we got December pulled up here. We do shows Mondays and Fridays, and they can pick them up. And this already, you can see too, it only allows them to pick the time that's available. And this is one of the great things about High Level, and the fact that it has unlimited custom calendars you can make very easily. We'll show that in a minute, but you set up your show calendar where it's only available on your show time, and you take all your other calendars and you block that time out, and you so it can't be scheduled for other things.
Right.
And you've just created a way to allow people to schedule your show. And for us, it was a game-changing difference. And talk a little bit about the Kurt Anderson story of listening to Damon finally earlier this year and moving into this automation.
Well, I'm a little bit of a I'm a bonehead, so I'm stubborn, I'm like, I'm going to do it the old school way. Just, hey, are you available this date? No. How about this date? How about, you play the tennis match, scheduler, right? And now I'm wasting their time. I'm wasting my time. I'm making it inconvenient, just because, for whatever dumb reason. Right.
Yeah.
So listening to you find you're nagging me, dude, just get a calendar, just get a calendar. I started saving so much time. I was almost like, man, what do I do with all my free time now? So I couldn't encourage you enough. We can get into another time. We have our calendar here for, just those coffee, virtual, catch ups, client meetings, that type of thing. So I have a separate calendar there. This calendar here is purely just for that live streaming, LinkedIn Live, or just trying to set up, those content creation opportunities. So that's where this Go High Level just comes in so valuable, so handy. And it literally has saved me throughout the course of the year, hours and hours. Right.
Yeah. And the other thing this does is that time that you're not spending now back and forth with somebody trying to figure out a date. I mean, our process is very intentional when we teach live streaming to people. It's like, listen, the process is intentional. You invite somebody to the show, then you have a prep call. The prep call is really to prepare you for the show and get to know that person first before this. That's ahead of this. And then they will get this page to be able to book the date on the show and get ready to go for that. But it does really, using this automation throughout this gives you the time to do the things that you need to do and still do it efficiently.
Exactly. And it just, and you know what, it was almost, and I'm criticizing myself, it was almost disrespectful to the other person that I didn't use this, because now I'm just wasting their time. You know what I mean?
Yes. And that's where we talk about guest experience, right? Because we want to make sure that our guests have a very good experience with the show, positive experience, and we make it simple, because nobody wants to come into something and it's going to be, oh, what about all this? What about all that? Mm-hmm. And when you look at the next steps that we're going to talk about, the automations behind this, some of the things that we do in the automations makes it easier for the guests, makes it easier for them to engage in the other things. So that's cool. So Kurt, this is an awesome automation, and I'm certainly glad that you're doing it now.
Well, dude, I give you 100% credit, and thank you for all the time that you saved me, and our guests, thank you for me stop inconveniencing them. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So as we look at this though, I mean, let's just take a quick look behind the scenes a little bit, because this page, adding with High Level, it's very simple to embed a form like this in your page to allow the scheduler to live right on your website in the page. So let's take a little look behind the scenes here and see what that looks like. And I'm going to switch the tabs that I'm sharing here, and hopefully you can see this, because this is the meeting detail page behind this. And like I said, we're laying out this is the meeting, like in a Calendly, this is the calendar invite section I'm putting out, and we can make all different ones, like you said. But this one, I want to run through a few things. You have the page details that come up, but the real important thing here is the availability. You set your availability when this only works. It only works at certain times of the day. And that's what you can do in here. You can say you can only schedule these times a day for this show. And that's the way it works. This is not the actual show one. I'm sorry, I got the wrong one.
No, you're fine.
It works through this, and it sets all these things up, and you can set up like how long the meeting is, and there's space in between and all different things like that. And then if it's something where there's payment or something like that, you can do that. All these other things you can do. And then the notifications that go out to the guest, to the person that booked the meeting, and to yourself. So it's behind this, it's fairly easy to set this stuff up, and you can make as many as you want. So if you have different things that you book people for or book meetings for, it's like, hey, this is an introductory call. This is a normal weekly call with a client. This is a a design call with an engineering firm I'm working with, and this is something I do over and over, you can look on your calendar then, and you see on your calendar, this is a design call, boom, it gives you all the details. And what the other thing that's really handy about it, the integration between High Level and Zoom, if you're doing this as a Zoom call, it automatically sends a link out. Yeah. Which is incredible, incredible for us. So that's a cool feature that we really like we use a lot. I mean, I don't even know how many calendars that we've got on our systems, but they're in the tens, right? Because you begin to really utilize and realize that if I have all these different things that I'm talking to people about, there are certain categories of those that it makes sense to adjust time. Like if you're someone that has a lot of meetings, but you want to make sure that I set aside some time for specific networking or specific business development calls, you could say, I want 8 to 10 on Tuesdays and Thursdays for business development. And that's what you send out for people when you're having those kind of calls. So it works really well for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree. And so again, what you're hitting on the head there, Damon, is, say you're a product-based company, manufacturer, whatever you might be, you could have your calendar available for those new leads, those new prospects, have that calendar available to you, tweak it and massage it, but maybe you have certain days and times that are a really good fit for you that you're doing your business development. If you're in the service sector, and you're working with clients, you can have, hey, this is my calendar for my clients. It's sacred. And these are, the folks that pay the bill. And then, hey, I still need to do my networking, my virtual cups of coffee. You can have a separate calendar for that networking opportunities. And again, like for the live stream, we have that designated specifically for that as well.
Just the time, right? And so when we look at this and we go, okay, now it's cool that I have that calendar, but then you go, the automations behind, and what they call them in High Level are workflows. You can have all different kinds of workflows. And this is the one for the live streaming. I wanted to pull it up here so we can look at it. But it's triggered by someone sets an appointment, and then it can, like this situation, it's got an internal notification that's showing us that, hey, what appointment was set. So it sends messages to the people internally that need to know that. It then confirms with an email out to that person. And then it waits until 4 days before, and it sends another email to remind them. And in our emails, it actually talks about, hey, we're getting ready for the show. If you haven't tried out your tech already, try out your tech. Do this, do this, do this. Here's a video you can watch if you want to do that kind of thing. You can really help to prepare people for a meeting. If this was a design meeting, you're talking about a manufacturer. Can you send us the design information ahead of time? Can you give us any other things that you want prior to your meeting? These automations can easily do that. And then ultimately, it gives you 24 hours before the meeting, gives another reminder, and then 1 hour before. So they're right in there and they know that it's time to get in and do the meeting. So these automations then can really help us once the meeting's been scheduled, make this a much better guest experience. And ultimately in these reminders as well, like for our live streams and for all of our normal meetings, the Zoom meetings, it's resending that Zoom link, that StreamYard link to them each time. So they have it handy. So you can make sure that, if they don't have their meeting, their calendar up and the invite didn't get to them that way, the link, they've got the invite in their email that they can always go back to. It really helps to ensure that these meetings go smoothly and the people are there and you can get to talk to them about what you want and everyone's prepared.
Yeah. And I'd say for speaking as a guilty recovering unscheduler, right? What it does, it's almost like having a friend over your back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just covering blind spots and just, though, I'd like to think I can cover everything. It's impossible. Right.
Yes. And the consistency of the message and the things that you get, it's like just the little details, like for our live streams, because we're talking about LinkedIn Live. One of the big things that you can run into is that the guest gets on and they have technical problems, right? But if you simply give them the information, here's your StreamYard link, go in and do this, because you can go in ahead and you can test your mic and your camera and everything. If you have problems, here are the steps to take. Because we do in StreamYard, like we're using today, it has a challenge with Mac, users sometimes, and sometimes they do need to download Chrome, and they need to do it that way. And but they're doing that days ahead rather than you're ready to do the show and you realize, oh my goodness, the guest has a problem. So you can make the experience a lot better for whatever meetings you're setting up for with these automations.
Right. How many times do you say you're a little bit stressed, or you've got a busy day, multiple meetings, and then you've got to, and if you're doing a LinkedIn live, doing some content with somebody, it can be a little bit stressful. And then, last minute you're jumping off one call, going to the next call, and you're like, where is that link? Yeah. And so the nice thing is with this reminder, it's sending out, we have it set up so it's 5 days before, then the day before, then the hour before. Yeah. Again, not to the point of being the squeaky wheel or being annoying, but just, having those little polite nudges of like, hey, this is what the meeting is. This is what we're going to be talking about. Here's the link that you need to link into. Here's any questions that you have. Here's a phone number, so again, just putting people's mind at ease into that situation.
Yes. I mean, and you think about these kind of automations for you, if you're setting up meetings for people to come to see you at your facility, if you're doing just so many different ways, you're going, okay, here's my cell number. You can text me if you got any last minute challenges, blah, blah, blah. There's so many ways these automations can just make it easier for you and the person you're meeting with.
Damon, we'll wrap up on this. I had an eye appointment yesterday, and I'm like, gosh, when's that eye appointment? I didn't put in my calendar. I got text message reminders, I got email. They made it so easy for me. And again, it makes it easier for them, because how many people skip a meeting, forget a meeting, so it's really in that same vein. If you're more in that B2B space where you're not really thinking of those customer relationships, or like an eye doctor where they're seeing people all day, every day, if we're not normally in that space, this is a little bit foreign or new to us. But what this system or what the process has done, it makes as host, or whatever that meeting is, so much easier, and it makes the guest's life just so much easier and so much more productive.
Yes. And you talked about it too, us in the B2B space, we don't really use text messaging like a lot of other places do, but this supports text messaging just as good as it does email. And it's with all the same functionality. So it's these things, there's no reason using a system like High Level that you can't really enhance your meeting experience for people, and specifically your guests on a LinkedIn live show.
Exactly. So, all right, Damon, thank you for this little jam session today. Learned tons. I appreciate you. Appreciate everybody out there. If you have any questions, my name's Kurt Anderson, my partner in crime, Damon Pistoka. Reach out to us. We'd love to tackle any questions. We wish you an amazing and incredible rest of your day. And as a matter of fact, Friday, we have a phenomenal guest right here on our live show. And it's with Chase Buckner, who is part of Go High Level. And so we're going to be taking a deeper dive into this powerful software solution, and can't wait to see everybody there.
Thanks, everyone.